Okay, just want to say thank you for being able, just to stay with us. We're the only thing between you and lunch. So, merci, shukran, vielen danke to all of you that are patient enough to be paying attention to what we're going to say. I'm switching to English for the international audience, all right? Let me remind you, Juan Diaz-Andreu, for English speakers, Juan Diaz-Andreu. And I work in an executive search firm called Talengo, in which we usually do searches at the C-level. That's people over 35 years old or so. But on the other side, I teach in different business schools. And as I said before, I've been proud, and honored to be here with some students and the faculty and staff of Le Roche. So I have what we say in Spanish, el corazón partido. And I'm sorry for the translator here. But it's, I'm going to be talking mostly for, recruiters and for corporations in my presentation, although much of the stuff is going to be applicable for students. Okay, guys? So you pay attention, and otherwise I'll be glad to comment anything you wish during Q&A and on lunch. So that's good news and bad news. Bad news is I cannot show a video because Headhunters is a very secret and opaque environment, so we don't show videos. And the other one is I'm going to be sitting down because I teach for the last 18 years. I like to teach, and I'm walking around, and I even speak under the water, as we say in Spanish. So it's better that I'm not comfortable. I'm sitting down here because otherwise I'll be walking around, and it's going to be 40 minutes of talk, and man is going to kill me, all right? The good news is that I'm going to make you a present today. It's not what I say. I would say I don't have the knowledge, but I know the people that knows. So you're going to have a lot of materials that I will pass on to you guys to be sent out to the audience with good sources of information. And I loved, your presentation, guys, because we're very much in line. Also, the good news is as they have been covering much of the stuff I was going to talk, I'll be able to make it shorter, so Manu's going to get less angry with me. And this is my first slide. Not retain. Retain is like retener. No. You build loyalty, you fidelizas, enamoras, whatever you want, okay? Let me go first to my sources. I always start all my presentations when I teach in different business schools. In fact, 6 of them. Thank you to the people that, helped me. Richard Mosley is a guy that you need to read. He has a number of books, and you have here this Employer Branding for Dummies, and I'll be making reference to him. Almudena Rodriguez Tarodo, she's an amazing lady. She does consulting for many corporations into corporate brands, and she was working in Santander, Indra, and other corporations. And she was the dean of kind of 5 schools in Universidad Europea in the past. This is my company, Talengo, which I work for, and I have materials from my colleagues. I'm using also materials from The Economist and materials from Harvard Business Review. You will have, lines about the different articles I'm going to refer to, okay? So for you to enjoy in your free time. We have been talking about employment value proposition and employer branding, so I will not repeat about the references, the comments that has been done before. And someone was using this quote yesterday, that you want to work in a job that you will love, so you will not work. You will enjoy the life. And when business schools, they hire me to talk about career development, and I help the career services of different business schools, I tell students, the first thing you have to do is you need to study which is the culture of Meliá. And if you are in line and there's a sync, you will love working there. But if you are researching another company, XYZ, and you don't feel you have the same values, don't even interview with them because you're going to be frustrated, okay? There's many more materials. They had this study talking about when employees were engaged, they would say positive things about the company, they would intend to stay, and they give the best efforts. There is a very good, which is not here in the presentation, a very good materials from an American gentleman called William Maruda. He talks about personal branding, and in one of his speeches that you can find in YouTube or on his webpage, he says, you are not going to work forever in the same company. But for the time you're going to be there, your company wants you to the best self you are. So you need to be proud belonging to that company. I had a number of articles from Harvard Business Review from Richard Mosley, and I will just make some comments about, how, the companies need to build their brand on the basis of their reputation, the perception of their people, and how in the following years, this would create value. There is an ROI, a return on investment, on making sure that your people is proud of you and they are your best ambassadors. And we were talking about that in the past with Le Roche. Well, you want to have every single employee to be your best ambassador. That's another article. I'm showing you this, so you go to Harvard Business Review, you download those articles, and they're fantastic. So for you to enjoy in a plane or a high-speed train. In this one, mostly talks about how, this personal employer branding would be the key component for leadership. This is a fantastic video, a clip in YouTube that I suggest you to watch. It's a 45-minute. It's kind of a master class, okay? Which, I had the temptation to show part of it, but Mano said that we had very little time, so I was scared.
You're always blaming me.
I didn't bring it, okay? So in this article of Economist, which I also urge you to read, it talks about how you would have in the same company people that are ex-boomers, Generation X, baby boomers, traditional people, Generation Y, how you have to manage all these different people even within the same team, which they have different values, they have, well, you know what I'm talking about. So before, people would need jobs and would kill for a job, also, in Spain still like that. But now companies are looking for talent. The right competitive advantage is people. It's absolutely crucial to have the right people. Talent is scarce. People come and go. People are not loyal anymore. And what is coming now, and I usually do it executive level, like C-level, a chief marketing officer, or probably a N-1, people are asking for complex job conditions, which makes our life complex as well. But it's good. That means the economy is moving along. This is a very nice article from Boston Consulting Group, in which they analyze, the different HR capabilities. And when you go into detail, the areas that are, there is a need to act is usually managing talent and enhancing the, employee engagement and improving employer branding. So still, my colleagues from HR in different companies, they're working really hard because, the drivers, the decision making, especially for younger people, are different than in the past. I will suggest you to read this report from Towers Watson that makes an analysis similar to yours on what are the drivers for attraction and retention, which I hate, between employers and employees. But for you guys that might be looking for a job at some point, it's good to know you need to put on the shoes, of the employer, so you can understand what are the drivers of the decision making of your future bosses. Okay. There's another one, trends in global employee management, and it's interesting because you could see how different in different countries, and it's good, that you have a look at the different details of your areas, okay? I will not get into detail. When you check, there is always an analogy. I do a lot of technology, okay? And it's different, the people that want to work in the, let's say, in the business part of the corporations, and the people that are into the IT, and they have different expectations, so it's good to know as well. And when you check which are the companies that are most admired, you would see there are many of them that are into technology. So what I tell to my friends and my clients is try to check what are the values of those companies, what they are able to offer to their employees, and try to mimic in what it makes sense into your business model, okay?
Sorry,
yep.
Media is in number 7.
Cool.
Yes.
All right.
It's true.
For the next time, I will bring the top 10 thing, okay? And let me finish with this. It comes...
Yeah.
Okay.
Next one.
Cool. So let me finish with this, and I will show you also some sources of information. It's a top 10 from Richard Mosley, which I suggest you to read. When you're doing this analysis from the corporation side, it's very important communication. I think you guys do it very well because you are coherent between your actions and what you say. Of course, management team must be absolutely supporting these initiatives. Then it's not only about HR. There is this tendency in our corporations to say, no, that's an HR thing. No, it's the whole company, purpose, especially with communication and marketing. Then, try to identify this talent in line with the strategy and objectives. Try to include flexibility, and I have to say we're very proud in my company because we have a full team dedicated to diversity. Diversity, not only gender diversity, but it's something that is absolutely crucial. Your employees must be ambassadors of your company, otherwise you're doing something wrong. Try to leverage internet, social media. Make sure that all your employees use it wisely. Okay, it's not use it for the sake of it. They have to do it the proper way. You have to keep an eye on competition, but you cannot mimic them. You cannot copycat what they do. Try to find creativity, in the way that you understand and you communicate. And finally, KPIs. We measure everything in all. I mean, I'm in the executive search part, but in my company we also do consulting jobs, and we define KPIs with our clients, and we measure before, during, and after. Just to finish, those are recommended readings. I'm not going to talk about them. This is a very good book from Laszlo Bock. There's another one, Creativity. I put the Spanish version here, but it's very interesting how you manage talent of creative people. And if any of you is interested or is into the internet arena, it is quite a challenge to manage people that are into the creative side of internet. And I'm suggesting you some readings from Harvard Business Review that talks about these different things that we're talking about, how making the most of online recruiting is interesting. And finally, this is in the SlideShare. If you guys are not snorkeling or diving into SlideShare, do it now. There's fantastic presentations, and there's this one from the Netflix culture, and they explain how they attract and retain talent. This is what I wanted to talk, and I'll be open also to talk more for the students part of it, that this was more approach for a corporation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.